All right, my fellow agents, listen up. It is I, X7, the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters, and also your agent of animated awesome. Today is Monday. That means it is time to start a new series of animated cartoons. That is a redundancy, but it's time to start a new series. And we are going to be looking at a very short-lived and unsuccessful Marvel effort from Saturday mornings, way back on first aired October 30th, 1999. It ran for a whopping 13 episodes till February 26th, 2000. I think I only ever saw maybe the first two, and I think I was otherwise occupied when it was on. And you'll see the reasons why I wanted to watch it, but I didn't like it then. I like it more now. It's not terrible, but we'll discuss why. But before we get into all of that, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this series, Avengers United They Stand, also known as just the Avengers, but it's not the Avengers. It's just, it's just, it is what it is, as I say a lot here, but it's kind of based on, well, we'll get into that. So let me know what you think in the comments. So having said all that, it's time to assemble the team. Yes, this would have worked better before I did the intro there. But as you can guess, well, there's definitely a couple of reasons I wanted to like this, but there's a lot more reasons I didn't. At least then. Now it's adequate, I guess. But let's look at it here. So there's Tigra and the Scarlet Witch. So it's kind of based on Avengers West Coast, and of course my Vision and my Tigra and my witch. Well, my other witch. And they're because that's Hank Pym as both Giant Ant-Man and Ant-Man, and the worst looking. I mean, I know it's supposed to look like an ant, but of all the costumes he's had, this is horrible. And look at all the armor. I mean, the only person who should be in armor is Iron Man. That's all there is to it. So we've got Wonder Woman, the Scarlet Witch, the Wasp, Hawkeye. You can barely tell that was Hawkeye. The Falcon and the Vision and Ant-Man. And then they do have various guest stars there, the big three probably. But there's our first one, and guess who it's about? So it's the retelling of the Vision's origin, where Ultron creates him. Not with the body of the original Human Torch, but it kind of falls along the same way. So off he goes, sends him out to destroy the Avengers, and Ultron is a good, what do you want to say, 14 feet now? Let's see, the Vision's 6 feet plus, say 6'2". Ultron's probably 12 feet tall. And he's got rocket punches, a la any number of Japanese super robots. And he wants to kill his father, in air quotes, Hank Pym. And he wants to destroy the world, take all humanity off the world. End of story. There's at least the first look at the Avengers Mansion, which is, I guess, in New York. I don't know. We'll get to that. So now, apparently, this is supposed to based on the 1984 Avengers spin-off series, The West Coast Avengers, or as it was originally called, Avengers West Coast. But I wanted to see there's the bonehead who did this. Talks about it being set in the future, but it's kind of ambivalent as it is, and that's why they get to have armor, except for a couple of them. The city likes the Avengers at the moment. There's Waspy. Janet Van Dyne is now definitely a redhead, along with Tigra. Well, there's the big three, and there's more pictures in the background that show up, which is a nice touch of other Avengers. Wanda and Simon, that's Power Man, are involved at the moment because at this point in time in 1999, they were involved. She and the Vision had split up. The Vision had actually dated Ms. Marvel or Warbird, Carol Danvers. And I don't know if he dated anyone else, but I don't even know if they're back together or not at this point in time. There's Tigra, and they call her Greer. She's also a redhead. I'm telling you, somebody at Marvel has a thing for redheads. Go figure. I wish she looked more like her comic book counterpart. I knew they were going to, she wasn't going to be wearing that bikini that she wears in the comic book. But and there's Hawkeye, who looks awful. I mean, he looks like an Image hero. It's awful. So, but yeah, it's awful. So none of them have, which he's got on her, as Hawkeye would call her gypsy style outfit. But we're never told how they met, why Hank's in charge, and Hank, and look, there's the Hulk in the background. The Hulk, who was only an Avenger for 2 issues. And the president's is being attacked. Now they aren't. They hit the little A's, their emblems, and they all armor up. The Wasp actually gets a second, pair of arms. So she's now, and there's, I don't know if that is the Quinjet or it's not a Blackbird, but there's the president. They don't know Ultron's after him yet, and they don't see the Vision because, of course, he can be intangible. And there's Sam Wilson, aka. Does it say? I want to say that's. Please tell me I got his name right. As the Falcon, voiced by Martin Roach. Yeah, Samuel Thomas Sam, or Snap Wilson, as I was introduced to him as. He's played by. Where'd that go? Martin Roach, who's done lots of voiceover work and been in lots of movies. Gleaming. Did that say Gleaming the Cube? Please, no. All right. He was in Kick-Ass 2, a movie I've never seen. Oh, he was in the Shazam movie, which I did like. Television. What was Black Panther? Oh, and Hendrix. Never mind. So lots of things. This might be, as far as I can tell, really, it's only his only voiceover work, but Time Warp. Anyway, so he does a good job. They all do really good jobs. Janet there is voiced by Linda Ballantyne, named after a street I used to live on. She was voicing Sailor Moon in the second half of the original version. Wasp. This was her first acting career. How about that? Care Bears, Thomas. I've not seen anything else. So, of course, this episode is going to take a little longer to get through, and I forgot to put the introduction in here, but we'll do that before the second episode. Hank is voiced by, where is Hank? Ant-Man. Rod Wilson, who has no highlighted. So there's Red Wing. Always like to see Red Wing around because they didn't do that. Well, they did have a Red Wing in the cinematic universe, but it was a robot, a drone. There's Tigra. She is voiced by Lenore Zann, who is more famous for voicing Rogue in various X-Men series and games. She is also a politician and a member who served as a member of Parliament in the House of Commons. So good on her. Let's see. Animated, television, live action. Television animated. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. She was Mikla. I love that show, and we will be reviewing it. Spider-Man, the animated series, as Rogue, of course. And so she doesn't have the dumb accent that they try to give her, the southern one. Yeah, she's been on Dragon Tales, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Stormhawks, and then once again reprised her role in X-Men 97. I guess she's still doing that. You can tell it's her. I mean, that's what I thought. Hawkeye, Greer gets hurt, and they call her Greer, which is a nice touch because not many people know her real name as Greer Grant Nelson. Not that I do or anything. Tony Daniels voices Hawkeye, Ares, and Aquarius. Those are members of the Zodiac, which will come up later, I assume. He's also the voice of Gambit. So you've got Gambit and Rogue back in the same cartoon. All right. And so they're trying to save the Falcon's not a member of the Avengers yet, but he saves the president's daughter. Hawkeye is, yes, we went through Hawkeye, and there you go. Vision there is voiced by Ron Rubin. Let's see what else he's done. He was Morph. Jeez. Beetlejuice, as the Doom Buggy, Care Bears. Uh, English, he was Artemis in the English language dub of Sailor Moon. I thought he was also, I thought he was Gambit. I thought that's what that's. Oh no, Gambit was the other. It was Hawkeye. Anyway, they do a good job. He doesn't have too robotic a voice, but if as far as Visions, he did appear in had a cameo in a Spider-Man episode way back when. So really, this is the first time he's been actually animated since they didn't do the original Human Torch. But and there's Wonder Man, and he's voiced by Hamish McEwen. Hamish McEwen doesn't give him a link. Wonder Man is Simon Williams. More bots. These are, Ultron apparently can control all kinds of things, but he has the Vision retreat. They've captured one of the drones that look like bugs, and Hank can't figure out who's attacking him. Hank's kind of a moron for being a biogeneticist, I think. But he's apparently just a master of science, like Reed Richards and Doctor Doom, just science in general. There's the mansion again, and I thought this was Henry Peter Gyrick at first, but it's Raymond Sikorsky, who is railing there. He's blaming Hawkeye for almost killing the president. Yeah, he wants the Falcon in there, and he wants Hawkeye out. Hawkeye's a hothead still. He's like, if you're not gonna, he said, just Hank tells him to lay low, and Hawkeye's like, I'll quit. Simon's is the guy who got Hawkeye into the Avengers. No, but in this universe, I guess, Simon just looks like a doof. I'm sorry. There's Edwin Jarvis, who is voiced by Graham Harley. And we all know who Edwin is. Apparently they must be in New York if that's where they are. Tiger's going to go out and find the Falcon. Hank's going to split open the drone. And I just included this because of the way Ultron can disassemble himself and be part and parcel of his own laboratory. That's Hank's dumb little cousin, I think. Not Hank. That's Sam, his dumb little cousin. Andrew, nephew. He's his nephew, Andrew. He's not a bad kid, but he doesn't do what he's told, but he saves Sam's life while the fighting's going on. Tigra, yeah, I know. There's a lot of Tigra in here and a lot of Witchy in there, but there's the whole, part of it. It changes in the next episodes. So, fountains, it's a nice looking, and it's at least got some, cordoned off from the public. Why they would set it in the middle of New York, I get it, but, it was much smarter to move it out of the city away from people. And the Vision blasts Simon. Can't complain about that. Hank looks, and it's just a horrible Ant-Man costume. And now it's to be continued. So right now we're going to see the opening. So we'll just do that. So they've used the phrase Avengers Assemble, I bet, 4 times already, and it's just what they use. Now, as we know that they didn't say it until Endgame. Endgame? Yeah. And it was such an awesome moment in that movie, and the place went crazy, the whole theater, including your humble agent, and probably including my partner in crime there. But Simon's dying. They can't figure out why, but I guess they haven't figured out he's an ionic form of energy. But this happened in the comic book in issue 8. So of course, Witchy wasn't around then. She was probably not even. She wasn't a member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants yet, because the Vision blasted him or something. But he tells Hank to save him, and Wanda tries to zap the Vision, but he just can't do it. So let's see. I didn't say who Janet was voiced by, did I? See, Janet is voiced by. Where is? Oh yeah, I did. Linda Valentine. Trying to see who voiced Ultron right now, but I don't see. Well, I'll look and we'll find out. But anyway, be that as it may, Janet's the one who zaps the Vision with her whatever those are, bio stings, and out he goes. Down I go. So they're all upset because Hank's dying or Simon's dying, and they don't know what to do. So the Vision doesn't. They decide they're going to put his. This is a solar energy cell, solar gem. It is not the Mind Stone. That wasn't a thing back then. So Ultron's going to go just bust into the headquarters. This happened in I want to say Avengers, well, in the Kree Skrull War, where Ant-Man goes into the Vision to save him. So he patches it up, and they decide to pump in Simon's brainwaves into the Vision, which is exactly what happened in the comic book, just in slightly before this. They didn't know it for a while, but their Falcon without his dumb armor, he looks much better. And he wants him in. Tigra goes to let him in. He's looking at that. Apparently, Red Wing likes Jarvis, who's not thrilled. Hawkeye didn't like Sam in the first place. Clint didn't like him in the comic books for a while, but I think he's come around. One would hope. That was the pretty much Gyric's fault. The Vision wakes up and he can't figure out what's going on, so he attacks him. Tigra gets in a good shot here, and they zap him again, and then he sees Hawkeye, and you can see Simon coming through a little bit. So much like the Vision saying when they piped in Jarvis to the Vision in the Age of Ultron, he's not the Vision, he's not Jarvis, he's not Ultron. So they've got these warring personalities in there. Ultron decides to attack with a bunch of his drones. Does this sound familiar at all? I mean, they're not quite clones of him, but So they're trying to reason with him, and he apologizes, and they realize that some of Simon is in there, but he's not completely Simon. Simon's placed in cryogenesis or stasis or homeostasis, whatever. It's cute when we try, whenever or whatever you want to call it, but it's to say, slow down. Probably cryogenesis. Cryogenesis is a whole different thing. And they leave him. So Ultron attacks. The fight is on. They just run out and leave the Vision. They armor up. This is what happens when they armor up. It's a very boring, and I just don't want to see it. I don't think that neither the Vision nor the Falcon are members of the team yet, but off they go. Yeah, see, he's not got armor. And Tiger doesn't get armor, which would have been even dumber. It's dumb, and I don't think Witchy gets armor, so only Jan does. And her mask is stupid too. So, but yeah, Tiger's winning me over now. Does she have her sharp teeth? She's not. I like her. And they get bombs. They throw him, zapping him. Hank's about to get vivisected by the drone, but the Vision shows up. Now his face turn is complete. He's a good guy. Ultron battles them, and Giant Man saves them, but he tells them what happened. They have the flashback to how he got created. A little one, not nearly. Well, I know way too much about the Avengers. And then he has a confrontation with the Vision, who blasts him. Boom! He's like, "You'll pay for this." Now they've inducted both. They haven't given the Vision armor, because that would be even dumber than giving Tigra armor, and dumber than giving a flying member armor, but they did it anyway for the Falcon. But poor Red Wing doesn't get any. And that's it for this episode. Haka! I guess the Falcon wouldn't say Haka. That would be a Black Hawk. And Ultron has taken Simon's body away. And Hawkeye, in his dumb costume, decide, yeah, we're going to find him. Cap is colored wrong. If you notice, he's got blue trunks on over his long underwear. But yeah, that's really not a good picture now that I look at it. So our next villain that shows up, also an early Avengers villain, Kang the Conqueror, and he is voiced by, where was that? I saw it a minute ago. Come on, where was it? Hangmaster. Boy, there are a lot of guest stars. Ken Kramer, who doesn't have a. I still haven't found who voiced Ultron, but oh well. I'm not going to worry about it. So, and it's only right that this should start out in an Egyptian wing of a museum, and that is the Doctor, along with Sam and his dopey little nephew, Andrew, Dr. Chris Johnson, who might be or be somebody, might be or might not be somebody else, but he's brought back something special from Egypt, which is this obelisk, which frees Kang out of his urn. There he is, and Kang really, I mean, that's not the kid. He looks like an Nihilus, which is a fantastic faux four. So faux four, a fantastic four foe. It's live. We'll go live. Sends out his time drone with his green orb. Interesting. Nope, the Avengers arrive because Hank calls them. Lots of booms. Tiger riding her sky cycle. I do wish they'd have left the tail out, because it's just never made any sense to me why. I mean, oh yeah, I'm trying to make sense out of a comic book. I know, I see, I hear myself. But there's old Kang all armored up as well when he's got a force field. What does he need armor for? Falcon saves Tigra. They start shooting him and wasting his arrows. Vision follows him. Hawkeye does have a sky cycle. This one's not horrible looking. It's a little too ornate for what they need, but the Falcon goes and gets the obelisk because he saw what happened. And off they go to fight him. And he's like, give me my obelisk. So they review the tapes or digital recordings and realize that every time he uses that Kang uses his force field, if he uses it too much, it gets weaker and weaker. But Kang says, if the Avengers don't give me this is all on you. And they go out to stop him. But there's the time wave, the chronological wave. It turns everyone old, including my Tigra, who, I guess that makes her a gilf now. But so there's the obelisk. He's found it. Off he goes. And he just burns these Avengers defenses. At least they would deter, gangsters or something. And Hank invades joins up with the obelisk to find out what's going on. Is that Rama Tut? Dun dun dun. Probably not, but so it shows how they trapped him in the first place. So while he's fighting, Hank's doing all this. Wanda is casting a spell. I don't know if she's a mutant or not, but her hex power would have worked a lot better against him than her spells, because it took her time and she zaps him. Or actually, Kang zaps her before he can do it. But Tigra still got some fight in her. She's now a cranky old cat lady. But unfortunately, Kang has captured the Wasp in his little globe, and Hank trades the obelisk for it. But he's booby-trapped it or rewired it, and he's done it. They send it up there, it detonates, and everyone gets turned back into their young selves, including all of the city. They thought Hank was betraying everyone, sacrificing all of New York for Janet, but Hank's pretty smart for a man. And there we go. And you'll see that the Avengers Mansion now looks a little different, probably because it keeps getting blown up constantly. Ooh, I didn't. Well, I didn't know what we were doing tomorrow, which movie we're reviewing, so we get a blank. It'll be a surprise. I should have just put a question mark in there. You thought it was the end of the Blob or Godzilla 2000 or Son of Blob or Equinox. There'll be none of those movies. But, oh, so my fellow agents, let's crank up some music, some outro music. And points if you know why I'm playing this music. But until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.